My name is Erin Gall, and I'm the chair of the Small Business Committee for the Rocky Mount Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm very excited to be here this morning with Michelle Strickland and her team at an Everlasting Memory Monument Company for winning Small Business of the Month for August 2022. They're a family-owned business that have been in business since 2006. They've been a chamber member for a long time now. They serve the community for Edgecombe, Nash, and Wilson counties. The Small Business of the Month winner also opens you up to being a Small Business of the Year, and that'll be at our Small Business Award celebration in June of next year. It also allows you to have a staff member on the Small Business Committee, which will help to nominate and evaluate more businesses to help honor them as small businesses and get them some much needed publicizing, but we look forward to celebrating you this month and hopefully having more businesses that can look up to you and know what it is to be a Small Business of the Month winner. But we certainly congratulate you, and we look forward to seeing all that you guys grow into do, and we appreciate your business.
We thank you so much, and we appreciate the change you're doing this.
Now we're going to learn more about the business folks. We have got Michelle Strickland. Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And Heather Chapman. Hey, Heather.
Hey, how are you?
You're the office manager and you're the owner,
yes,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's start with the background of the business, because I think a lot of people watching, in fact, I knew Johnny Brown, Brown Memorials, and that's where you got your start, isn't it?
It is. I started there when I was 16, or probably 15 actually, and we went through many changes over there. And when I hit my late 30s, I was like, the area needs a monument company that is going to help families. And so I started from ground up with nothing, and we have become this with the help and support of Rocky Mount and the surrounding areas, and we feel blessed.
Absolutely. And you are near Boyce Willis on North Winstead here. Have you always been in this location?
Our first year we were on Circle Drive, and then we moved here and been here ever since.
And so with Johnny Brown and his wife Barbara, who many people know, wonderful long-time businessman here. Had he been closed for quite a while before you started, Michelle?
So Johnny sold out, and several other companies or people bought the business at different times. So it was still Brown, but it wasn't the Brown family. So that's when I started. Now it's a whole different name, which is our competitor. But
don't say it by any means.
No, I'm not. But we love what we do. I tell, when we hire someone, I tell all of the girls in here and the guys, you treat everyone as if they're family. That's the main thing. That's the first thing I learned when I started this business, and we lost it at that place when it was sold out. And it's something that we value. We hear all the time from different families that come in, that's how they feel. That's why they keep coming back. So we have so much repeat business from, like, grandma comes, and then a few years later, daughter comes. A few years later, the grandchildren are coming back. So that makes me feel good that I know that we're doing something right.
And since 2006, so that's a pretty good track record.
It is. I never imagined it would become like it has, but I'm so happy. I really feel like it's because we do treat people fairly. We do a lot of community work people probably don't know about. We donate stones every year, at least 6 to 7, to families that cannot afford to get a stone. We just try to help out and make sure everybody can mark their loved one's grave.
And tell us, before I talk to Heather, brag on Heather, your office manager.
She is awesome. She's been here for almost five years. Before I found her, I was getting gray really quick. But when I found her, she is awesome. She was a quick learner. She handles everything just as I do. She treats families with respect, helps with any issues. Anything I ask her to do, she does. I get so many thank you cards in the mail just raving about Heather. So she's awesome. And we have 2 other employees.
We're going to meet them too.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, it's having gone through this, and I'm sure so many of the people watching have gone through this. It's a time unlike any other, because you have such a deep sense of loss that, Heather, the way that you talk to people, which obviously from Michelle, you've honed that skill really well, but
Absolutely.
kind of talk about some of the sensitivities that y'all have when people come in.
So obviously the biggest sensitivity is losing a loved one. You know, we've all lost a loved one, and during that time, it is super hard. It's super hard for the families, you know. For one, which way do we go? What do we do? And we want to kind of be that company that not only helps you get the stone or the processes that you need, but we also want to be that backbone for you, because a lot of families nowadays don't have these big families anymore. They don't have that person that they just need to kind of express their feelings to, and that's what makes us different. You know, we take the time with our families, you know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever they need, to not only make the stone going to be a memory forever, but also to build that bond and to let them know that we're here. You know, we're human. We're going to help you with whatever we can.
And completely understand
Absolutely.
that they're going through grief, and that's
Yeah.
part of it.
It is. You know, grief is one of the toughest things anybody can go through. You know, everybody grieves different. So some people, you know, they're prepared for it. They know it's coming. So it's a little bit easier for them. But some families, it takes a little bit longer, and that's okay too. And some families come in, and just the image of coming and seeing the stones in general can make them upset. And we want them to know it's okay. Take your time. Make sure this is what you want, and let us help you however we can.
And there are a lot of options too. I've noticed that, you know, looking around here, there are lots of in cremation and stuff. Are more people getting cremation done than used to?
It is. Cremation line is a growing line. It is something that is becoming more popular, obviously, with the economy the way that it is, and, you know, financials the way that they are. You know, people think this is a little bit easier, but with cremations, you still need to mark that loved one. You still need to leave that legacy for their family. You know, you still need to, whether it be with an urn that's, you know, individual with their information, marking it with a marker, you know, just something to leave that memory for the future, that this loved one was here and they are part of our family.
Do you have books that they can go through and like see the assortment? I notice we're going to look around some here with a lot of the different examples of what you've done, but some people coming in, first off, they're so overwhelmed to start with, but I'm a visual person, and if you showed me my options, it'd be better. So do you have a lot of people who go through books?
We do. We have several books. We have got on the computer thousands of designs. And then when you decide on something, we actually get it drawn up so you can see what it's going to look like before we ever start producing it, to make sure that you're satisfied.
And concerning the ones that go straight on the ground and the ones that stand up and all, does the cemetery where they're going to put the person determine that, or how is that determined?
Yes. So if it's a family cemetery or a church cemetery, they're pretty much flexible. Let you use pretty much what you want. Your town cemeteries and memorial cemeteries, they do have a lot of strict rules, very strict.
Are people shocked when they find? I mean, I didn't know that.
Yes.
So you kind of guide them and help them know that they need to check that out, or do you have all those here so you can share them with them?
We have, I'd say, 75% of the rules and regulations. If we don't have it, Heather is really good at finding. Years ago when we first started, that was a little bit harder. Over the past 4 or 5 years, it's gotten easier to get those avenues where we can call somebody, you know, find it on the internet, get the information we need. Another thing people need to know is that some of the cemeteries have what they call permit fees. So when you purchase a monument or marker, you have these fees that you have to pay. We don't condone it, I guess is what I should say, because some of them are extremely high, and it just doesn't make sense. But it's sad for the family because it sometimes can be almost as much as the stone.
Well, and to buy the stone is an investment, and I understand, that people want a place they can go back and, potentially visit where their loved one is and all. Do you have a way if people can't pay for all of it up front that they can, over time, pay for it?
Oh, yes. We have a 7-month layaway program. We don't charge extra fees or anything. They just put what they can down, and then they pay each month until they get it paid off.
And concerning supply chain, I mean, gosh, everything's been tough lately, as we know. And you mentioned having COVID, so you know more than most of us. But have you had any delay in being able to get what you want?
We've had a very small delay, but for the most part, we're actually right on our normal time. We are very fortunate in the fact that because we are local, we like to support local. So the quarry that we do use is a local quarry, and we are still on our normal time frame. Every now and then we'll see maybe a piece or two that's kind of a delay, or a piece that may need something that we got to wait a little bit longer. But for the most part, we're moving right at normal time.
Do you find that some people say, well, I'd like to think I'm going to live forever, but none of us is going to live forever?
Absolutely.
That they go ahead and buy something in advance and maybe put the date of birth and a name on it, and then you can come back later and add the date they pass away?
Absolutely. There's a lot of families that have these stones already in the cemetery, or their loved one may pass, but obviously they have not passed yet. So we do something that's called sandblasting, and we are at a very good turnaround time. We're about 60 days out for that. And our sandblaster, he goes and he does it right in the cemetery. So he doesn't remove the stone. He doesn't damage the stone. It is simply matched up with what's already there. Very quick process. We get a picture of it. We contact the families, let them know, hey, it's completed. We've got a picture if you need it. So it's a pretty quick turnaround time on that too.
I want to talk about stuff behind me. You have jewelry, and tell us about that, Heather.
So this is kind of the cremation line also. So obviously, with loved ones, you want to memorialize them in any way. And a lot of families have multiple family members. So, they'll kind of spread the ashes with the family. So we do have several different jewelry pieces that actually hold ashes of your loved one. So all of these pieces up here, with the exception of that one, which is kind of your dog tag, which still has a picture of your loved one. We've even got bracelets, fur babies.
Fur babies.
Yes, fur babies, your regular, loved ones. You can carry their ashes with you at all times.
And what about like the little versus the large?
So obviously with your urns, most what you see of the time is your large urns, and this is kind of what you see. But again, with these families that's got multiple children or, loved ones that all kind of want a remembrance, they do the smaller urns. So you can do smaller urns and give to the family members so that everybody has their loved one at all times.
And in a cremation, often part of the cremated person is buried, but then they also keep some that's not buried, that they keep at their home.
That is correct. Sometimes they will do a burial of the urn. Sometimes they don't do it at all, and they just keep the urn.
But still do the monument in a cemetery.
Absolutely. But a lot of times people will do like a memorial tree or memorial garden. The ones that do obviously bury the urns, they can do the markers. But in those memorial gardens, do something that marks, that loved one as well.
So what are these stones I'm looking at with pictures on?
Sure. So obviously with your stones, you can add pictures to them. These right here are kind of like your table pieces that you can have in your home if you would like. But this is just kind of showing you the different styles of pictures that we do. Obviously, we do pictures that are in porcelain that have a lifetime warranty, so they're never going to fade. They're never going to discolorate. This is more of a laser etching, which is something else that we offer. So we kind of offer everything for the families depending on what they would like.
And I would think, too, Michelle, they could come back, after a while and they kind of processed some of their grief. They might come back and say, I'd really like to have something else that I can have at my house. And so these would be some good options.
Exactly. And one thing that we do when people come in, let's say that their loved one passed away last week and they come in and they are upset, we do try to tell them, wait a little while. You don't need to be doing this right now because your emotions is going to dictate what you're getting, and you might regret what you've chosen as far as designs. So we that's where we differ. We do tell them, please wait. Some people don't listen to us, but please wait, get your thoughts together, and then come back. But yes, people do come back and they get cameos. Some people get some jewelry.
What is this?
This is the flower vases. This is different metal colors.
Okay.
This mainly goes, you can put this type on the granite. There is one that, like this one right here, that goes with the markers. They go in the ground.
I'm so glad that you tell people to wait, because having been through it on numerous occasions, the people don't make really good decisions when they're in the throes of grief, do they?
They do not. And see, I've lost all my grandparents, 2 stepdads, so I know what it's like. I mean, and my stepdad that I lost 8 years ago, I thought I would be in a better place because I had been doing this for so long, and I can help my mom through it. I was just as upset and grieving as she was. Didn't remember half the things I was supposed to remember. Yeah. So I get back to work and I'm like, why did we do that?
Yeah.
So it's you should wait until you have your thoughts back together and you've had your grieving time.
Heather, one of the things you said really struck a chord with me, that people don't have the extended large families that were predominantly, especially in this area of the town of the country. So now you might even have somebody come in who lost a loved one and they're the only surviving person.
Happens all the time. We have a lot of families that come in and say, this was my cousin, and you think about it, you would think the immediate family, but some people don't have that anymore. And so, it's hard, because if losing a loved one is hard, obviously losing an immediate family member is hard, but losing someone that doesn't have anybody, that's even harder, because that is still a loved one of someone's. So, everybody needs that memory and that legacy. Genealogy is one of the biggest things right now that's going on, and being able to look at the genealogy and find out where your loved one is it means a lot. So,
do y'all have, like, I notice that sometimes there are things written on them like, "In my soul I am free," "a loving person to all." Do you have things that you can suggest?
We do have a book they can look through, but we do try to ask them to let it be personal. If their grandmother had a saying that she always said, we really like to customize and put everything on that stone that reflects that person. So they can go back years from now and say, "Oh, Grandma did used to say that."
They make them smile a little bit. Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and you've got 2 other assistant office managers who are going to join us, and I want you to introduce them too. Okay. So be right back. Michelle, you talk about carefully training your employees, and how, Heather, as they walk in, people walk in very fragile situations, don't they?
They are very fragile.
Well, how about introducing Judy?
Absolutely.
And talk about what she does, and we'll let you talk too, and then we'll meet
So
Caitlin.
this is our part-time office assistant. This is Miss Judy. She's been with Michelle for a while, and we all love her. She's got that soft, compassionate heart for the families also.
Judy, what do you like about your job?
Well, we meet so many different kind of people, and each person has a different need. And you have to find that need within them. You cry with some of them, and you laugh with some of them. Some of them are happy that their loved ones have passed and have moved on to a better place. Some of them are just so sad they just cannot. It's hard to deal with. That's why Michelle tells them to come back.
And so you cry with them?
Absolutely. We cry with them, as well as get them tissues, get them water, get them sodas, coffee, whatever they might want or need.
And how long have you worked here?
I've worked here since 2015, so I'm part-time, but I'm still part of the family.
And y'all are open Monday through Friday from what to what?
We're open Monday through Friday to 5 o'clock each day, and then we take appointments on Saturday, normally up until about 1 o'clock, but we will do later if it is needed, whatever is needed.
Okay. And Caitlin, how long have you been here?
I've been with Miss Michelle since 2021. I was working at my other job. She stopped in, and I asked her if she was looking for somebody. So we just kind of met by coincidence and then came right in, and she's treated me like family ever since.
Brag on her a little bit.
Well, first of all, she's a daughter I never had because she is so much like me. But she has taken over our social media, our marketing. She'll be doing more things with the chamber. She just doesn't know that yet. She has learned, her and Heather both, out of all these years, are the ones that picked up so quick on the sales part. So she can jump right in, and she helps people. She's got the compassion. She understands we treat them like family. And she's just awesome. I mean, she helps us with whatever we need.
Are you part-time also, or are you here all the time?
Full-time.
Full-time.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would think the fact that you've got a combination of younger versus not quite as young, that probably, people walk in and they have kids, or they may have lost a child, And so to see you and let you comfort them also, has that been a skill that you've kind of grown into?
Yes, ma'am. Even older people kind of connect with me a little bit more because sometimes they'll make the comment, I remind them of their daughter or their granddaughter, so on and so forth.
What do you sell the most of, or is there anything that you sell more of than others?
I think, and Heather, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we sell the most of markers, foot markers, because it's the least expensive piece. So that's what I think. Now Heather she works with the numbers more, so she may think differently.
Yeah, I mean, it really kind of is a cross because obviously your markers are your more economical way to go, but we really do a lot of uprights also. We do a lot. People.
What's an upright?
An upright is the ones that stand up. So those are the ones that kind of stand up. So a lot of people like those because when you're walking into the cemetery, you can easily spot them. You don't have to necessarily look down for them. But again, like we said earlier, a lot of cemeteries don't allow those. So, obviously that's our first step is finding out what you can and cannot have. But I think it's, we have a ballpark around everything. So.
What about flowers? Are there urns in them? Do a lot of people have urns?
Yes, a lot of people do like the flower vases. Some cemeteries now do not allow flowers to kind of go in the ground per se. A lot of times before people would just put them in the ground, but a lot of cemeteries don't allow that now. So flower vases are very, very popular on flat markers as well as upright monuments.
Judy, when people come in, do you, after you kind of talk to them a little bit, then do you get out some books, and that's one of the first things you do is show them options?
Yes, ma'am. We have several books. We have brochures we can show them. We actually have stones outside. We can walk out and show them on the yard. And we also have on the computer, it's designed so we can show all kinds of emblems that you might want to put on the stone if that's what you want to do.
So I see crosses. What other emblems or types of things people have?
Oh, we have all kinds of symbols. We have trucks, motorcycles, all kinds of flowers, different sayings. Most anything you can think of, we can have drawn up or designed and put on the stones.
And Heather, how long did you say the turnaround is for getting them engraved and produced?
So kind of depending on which style stone that you select. We've got some that we're getting in here in about 60 days. Most of your turnaround time is about 10 weeks, give or take. We get quarterly trucks, so we constantly have something coming in. So the wait time is not bad at all.
And I've seen at cemeteries when I've gone to graveside, they've got a marker there or something. I guess they leave that in place until the stone comes in?
Yes, ma'am. So a lot of your funeral homes or families like to do the temporary markers, just kind of marking the grave until your stone does come in. We actually offer them to the families once we install the stone, if the family would like them, or we can leave them there at the cemetery.
And Michelle, I'm looking around at some really pretty granite pieces. So is that another thing they can choose from a pretty good array of different types of granite?
Oh, yes. So you can do any color of granite. Your black granite is probably becoming one of the most popular colors. And it's a beautiful stone. They've mahogany, blues, greens. It is really anything that you would like.
And you said none of this stuff fades over time, right?
Actually, granite gets darker over time.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And is that the kind of the stone of choice that most people use now on markers?
Granite, yes. Marble is your white stone, and it used to be popular way back in the day. That's what everyone used. But marble is a softer stone, and it's a softer stone, and it can chip easily, and it's very expensive, like compared to granite.
I would think keeping it clean too.
Yes. So yeah, it gets dirty really easily, and that's something we do offer too. Though we do offer cleaning.
So somebody can contract you to go and keep it clean?
Yes. So that's one thing that we, how do I say, there has been people out that just say they go out and clean, but they don't really know the product, because you cannot use certain things on granite and marble because it will mess it up. Not right then, but in years to come, because the sun, when the chemical goes on it, the sun draws it out over time and leaves brown spots on your stone. So you have to know your product, know what product to use. So we encourage everyone to call us if they want it clean, and let us go do it professionally.
Okay. Well, it looks like you have some good hires here.
I do. I love each one of them. They have become family. We do.
The daughter you never had.
Yeah, we do dinners together. We go shopping together. We're a big family. They all love my fur babies, and they help me out there. So it's really, I love the environment we have.
Well, we're going to let them get back to work, and we're going to have one more part of wrapping up. So be right back. Michelle, we have moved over here, and one reason you wanted to is you wanted to point out the monuments below us. Tell us the significance of those.
So these are package deals, and what that means is you get your flower vase and a picture of your loved one included in the price, instead of each piece being priced individually. There are hundreds of designs you can put on these. This is Heather's baby right here. She loves doing these package deals, and she can tell you a little bit more than I can about them.
Okay, Heather, I'm noticing pictures.
Absolutely.
On these,
So she is correct. These are kind of my babies. For one, I love the black granite. I think it's just beautiful. For two, I love to design. I love to find out about the families and find out about the loved one that's there and make it personable. So that's one of the good perks about obviously what we do, but these package deals is the fact that we do customize them. So, if you've got a loved one who loves Carolina Panthers or something like that, we can do that. We can put that up there. So that's kind of one of my favorite parts, I guess you could say, is designing these stones and make it exactly what the family wants. These do come with flower vases, so we had mentioned earlier that, and they also come with a picture of your loved one. So really, that family that wants it all, this is definitely the best way to go.
How do you do a picture? I mean, is that picture going to hold up over time?
It is. So that picture is actually baked into porcelain. So when they go into and bake it into the porcelain, it's a couple days process, but it actually seals it in there, and that gives it that lifetime warranty. So that's where it's never going to fade. It's not going to discolorate. And if it does for some odd reason, let us know, but we've never had one do that. But it does. And plus, having the picture in color, this makes it seem a little bit more real. You get to remember that loved one exactly how it was.
Do you find that most people have single person monuments, or what percentage would you say, just guessing, you have multiple family members so people can be added to it?
So, it's really across, because there are some cemeteries, again, that don't allow these doubles. Some families they don't know who would go beside them, so there are a lot of single plots being done now. Obviously, the older style, the more family oriented, it would be multiple plots and one large headstone, which we still do a lot of those. So it's it's a toss up. It really kind of depends on the family and the cemetery, to be honest with you.
Well, and one thing I'm sure that you mentioned stepdads, a couple of stepdads. The fact that if somebody has an original spouse put there, that could down the road you might want to deter them from engraving that?
Well, actually, like my mother, I'll use her as an example. We have, she's still with us, thank the good Lord, but we have a double out there from my first stepdad that passed away. So they're together, and then when she married Junior, and he passed with cancer, so we did him a single stone on the other side of her.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's one way of doing that.
So you can help people when they really can't think clearly.
Yes.
So anything on here you want to talk about? The statue monuments, those are kind of interesting.
This is something new to Heather and I about a year ago, I think. So it's a very tall piece, and we put the person's picture, so it's like a life-size stone of them. It's this tall.
Is that in some cemetery locally?
What town?
It's in Hollister, actually.
Hollister.
It's on a family plot.
Okay. And I see a lot of angels up there.
Yes, these are your sculptured angels and bears. These do come from overseas. They do take a little bit longer. They are hand sculpted, so that's why it takes longer.
Are they're attached though, so you could put the rest of it and then add that to it?
Absolutely.
I see a flag down there and a container for a flag. What about any of the rest of these? You want to point out anything? This just breaks my heart to see a little child.
Yes, this is the hardest ones for us to do are your children and babies. This right here is called the tilted heart, and it has I call it an oval base, peanut base. But it's heartbreaking, but it's adorable. It's got the little heartbeat there. He was so young. But
And over here, I'm seeing like benches. Heather, you want to mention a bench?
So we do a lot of benches. Benches are kind of one of those things that's really kind of growing because it can cross-utilize. It can be obviously a memorial for someone. You can use it in a memory garden. Or we're doing a lot of them at businesses. So we're not just strictly for monuments. I mean, we do businesses. You know, we do signs for companies made out of granite. You know, we do benches for companies. We've done one out at Bridgestone not too long ago. We actually did the sign at Body Knoll too. So, you know, we do a lot of other things as well, other than just, you know, your markers and your monuments.
And I think it's important for people to know that because I came here thinking that you were, you know, monuments for people who'd passed away. But you want to tell a few other things like benches and big signages or what?
So, you know, benches, we can do those. We can also do large signs. We've had some schools kind of contact us and want something, you know, as they're going into the school or maybe out at the stadium. Parks, like, you know, these parks that are opening up, these sports parks with that kind of thing. People need places to sit, and, you know, benches are a good opportunity to do those. So, we do Nash County. Yep. We're actually working on a project with Nash County now, right in front of the courthouse. Those big pavers that have. I think we're doing one for the Mayos. We did Miss Wells, and then we just did one for not too long ago. I can't think of his name, but we've done those, the pavers outside of that. The big
memory of
teardrop.
county commissioners.
Yeah, absolutely. Fallen veterans, you know, we're working on something also in Nash County, a bench with the Eagle Scouts. So, you know, we do a lot of donations and help the Eagle Scouts out for fallen officers. That's going to kind of go out there in memory of them also.
Well, and you mentioned earlier that you give away some of the monuments during the year, and I think that it has a lot. When we consider people for winning the Small Business of the Month, it matters that you're here, you're local, and you give back to your community.
yes, that is very important to us. We see people come in. What made me start donating was a little lady came in, and her son had passed away, and she got the price, and she just couldn't afford it. And when she left, you know, I was like, yeah, she's got to have a stone. So I'll cry. But yeah, that's when we started donating. I've come in sometimes, and Heather will be crying. And she.
Not too long ago, I had one that got me. It was and she'd lost her husband, and it just kind of broke my heart because she had no family. She had, you know, she was living on a very small income, and she had no family, and it just, when Michelle walked in, she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, it just kind of hurt my heart a little bit." And so we kind of got to talking. So, we try to take every situation into chance and just help people where we can. So.
Well, as a fellow crier, I can relate to that. You wouldn't want me to work here.
We're both very sentimental, so.
Well, thank you. Congratulations. Y'all just obviously are a very caring and loving and giving business, as well as being hopefully very successful with what you do. So I'm really glad y'all are here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.